Hi everyone, and a warm welcome back to my channel, Elegantly EDC. I've really enjoyed my CIVIVI Elementum II knife, and this was discussed in a previous video, and it's in my bag with me pretty much everywhere I go. And after numerous viewer recommendations, I decided to break out ye old credit card and take a closer look at all the products offered by CIVIVI, and that led me to this, the Baby Banter. Specifically, the Baby Banter designed by Ben Peterson, which, if you're not a knife person, Ben Peterson is largely renowned for his designs. Anyway, this is the Baby Banter, complete with a wood handle. It has a 2.34-inch black, stone-washed Nitro V blade, and one of the best design features, a caged ceramic ball-bearing pivot. The blade when opening and closing it is super smooth, and if I was a completely accident-proof person, I would play with this as a fidget toy. The handle is a little over 3 inches long, which is fine in my hands, but for larger guys and gals, I can see this being a bit too small to be comfortable for a daily use knife. For me though, the size makes it more discreet and easier to slip into smaller EDC bags and even jean pockets. Other features of note, especially around the blade, is the dual titanium thumb stud opener. So whether you're right-handed or left-handed, you'll be able to open this with one hand very easily. You'll hear a very satisfying click when the blade pops into place, secured by a liner lock. The more skilled among you could also close this with one hand, but I have accepted my limitations. I opted to go with the Quibershaw wood handle. There's just something classic about it compared to the other scale color options that are on the market. But one thing that I was nervous about, which to my surprise I haven't found any discernible difference, was its handling. Initially, I thought the smooth wood handle would make this knife slippery when in use, but when I compared it to other models with ceramic scales, the grip felt nearly identical. The body also has a pocket clip, which can be fitted to either side, in whatever matches your pocket carry style preference, and there is a drilled out section in the body for lanyard carry. From a handling and even aesthetic point of view, and this is just a personal preference, I don't like knives that have a fat blade compared to a thin handle. They look a little cartoonish and they feel unbalanced to me, and now I'm not dinging this knife on something as vapid as the way it looks. I just typically prefer a knife with a little more symmetry between the blade and the handle itself. A commenter out there when the channel was very new asked about my thoughts on the Baby Banter 2. And the biggest difference that I could find between the two, especially with what I have on screen versus what's on the market on the newest version, is the crossbar lock. And that just elevates an already user-friendly knife to the next level. I'm actually fine with liner locks, but the crossbar lock is just something that I would honestly prefer, as if I can avoid it, I just generally prefer locks that don't require me to put my thumb in front of the blade. They're not bad, and I know liner locks are common. That again is just a preference for me. I like the look of more slender, feminine blades, especially if my budget and the design of a particular blade line up. But I think the Baby Banter is a competent blade that is definitely more useful for rugged activities. So, while it's not my first choice to replace my Elementum, I've got to be honest, my heart immediately softened to it once I got it in my hands. This little knife is growing on me, and again, I really appreciate the hardwood handle. This might be counterintuitive, but I think one of the best ways to gauge a company's overall product line is to examine their most affordable items before their flagship products and see if they have the same attention to detail. Now, obviously, the top of the line products will have additional features that are made of more premium materials, but if they care enough to make the base model correctly, that usually bodes well for the entire product line. And this may not always be the case, as sometimes manufacturers will farm out their budget offerings to other companies altogether. But hopefully you get my point. So that line of thought is what led me to purchase this. This is the Mini Praxis folding knife. This one falls under that budget category, priced at a modest $35, and it's been around since 2021. So it's not an old design, but the company itself is also newer, established only in 2018. This is one of CIVIVI's best sellers, and is available almost everywhere knives are sold, with a blade length of 2.98 inches, made complete by that signature ceramic ball-bearing pivot assembly. The blade is the same black stone-washed steel that you'll find on the Baby Banter. But this G10 design is advertised as offering a more comfortable grip. And I would agree with that, actually. My fingers rest nicely around the handle, and the scales and the design overall just make the grip feel more secure. The knife is also available in a multitude of scale colors and materials that fit your preference, but I like the default army green. One thing that I especially want to note is that this particular model claims to be legal in all states despite the locking blade. So before anyone in the comments asks about whether or not a particular knife is legal, I'm not an expert and far from it. I would highly encourage you to research the laws in the jurisdictions where you live, whether you're in the United States or in another country. I know some places have tighter regulations on sheath knives, fixed blades, locking blades, etc., etc. So please do your due diligence. Anyway, other similarities between the Mini Praxis and the Baby Banter, again, goes back to that liner lock and the deep pocket carryability. This model, however, does not have the lanyard functionality. But I bought the Mini. The full size does have that option should you wish to carry that way. As previously mentioned, it feels more balanced in my hand with a more even ratio of blade scale length to handle, more so than the Baby Banter. I prefer the more slender, sleek look and feel of this one, but both perform impressively. Knife enthusiasts out there would be quick to recommend a Benchmade knife, and I actually have one of those. But I'll be totally honest here, I don't have enough experience and really the knowledge to properly appreciate a knife at this price point. I'm not field dressing an animal or surviving in the wild, and I have better options available to me for self-defense. So as long as I can open boxes and accomplish the occasional light-duty odd job, I tend to carry a knife that fits my self-expression. That said, I really like these blades, and I think that they are a fantastic option for someone who wants something that's reliable and still at a decent price. And because the whole point of my channel is to introduce EDC concepts and tools to women, I must say these knives seem particularly well designed for women given their size, balance, and the design options. So yeah, I'm quickly becoming a big fan of CIVIVI, and while most of their current products are just improved models of existing designs, I'm still looking forward to see what they'll do in this space. Thanks for tuning in and listening to my thoughts on these blades, for all that it's worth. You've been watching Elegantly EDC. See you next time.